Hola, this be a base build video for putting down a base fast on a wipe day.
Well, that's just fucking great! Oh, great! You know what that is? Do you know what that is?
Right.
That's just fucking great!
Busy server when everything's really hectic and you're struggling just to get a base down. Have your TCs and doors ready and try this. Hey all you rusty freaks, how's it going? Well, you know I love my minicopters, so I thought I'd start this video with me flying a minicopter. Now, you also know that I'm not a base builder, so don't expect a fantastic base. But, on the other hand, if I wasn't going to stick to my tactic of multiple tiny little shitty bases, and I was going to play with a group and I needed something bigger, this is what I would build. It's not pretty, but it is pretty good, and I'll show you why. Yes, there's room for a heli on the roof. Let me give you the tour. So, okay, the logic to this base is twofold. One, it's expandable, and I think that's really important. The main tip, the title of this video is that it's fast to build. So, raiders that look at a base this size, meaning not a massive base, are almost always going to go through doors. So they'll go through this door, and then they'll go through the only other door, and then they'll get to this door, and then they'll keep dying because of the shotgun traps. So they'll either give up here or be forced to raid through walls. And the walls are all either metal or, as you can see from what I'm standing on, all high qual. Because the core is high quality. That's the TC there. If they had come through the honeycomb, which is all that stuff there, they would get to here. Again, the core, unless they luckily hit this. That's the base. You got a couple of loot rooms. You can do whatever you want with this. You can have more loot. It doesn't have to be this shape either. You can expand outwards in any direction. But that's it. Now let me show you how to build it. Okay. So the thing about speed building is knowing what you want in advance. And the shape is always going to be this. Two squares with triangles on the end. So, when you start out, you should have your TC ready to go. And then as fast as possible, put your TC down. You can make room for a fireplace if you put it that way.
Oops.
You can make it double door if you want. That way you can put a roller door later. And then you slam on a door. And that's it. So you'll play out of this little base until you get more resources. When you get more resources, you'll put down another square with another door. Now this one, I reckon, actually it really doesn't matter. Do what you prefer. because this is the one where people are going to be jumping down to face a shotgun trap. So then you live out of this. Then you build a triangle and close yourself in. Now that might seem strange, but if you recall the way it was, it's a jump up, jump down situation in this base. You put yourself your furnace, you're going to need furnace anyway at the end of it. That's how you'll, from now on, you'll always get in and out of your base using this furnace. You can use a ladder if you want. The rest is pretty much common sense. Build like this. Now I like to put a single door here just to force people to jump down the middle, because you can't always build 3 shotgun traps, and that way you can make sure they jump where the shotgun trap is facing. Make sure your door is facing the correct direction. Close all this off. Now if you only have a little bit of stone, make sure everything I've built so far is out of stone. Anything you build from now on, it doesn't matter if it's wood, because you want them to go this way to get hit by the shotgun traps. You don't want them raiding anywhere through any of these walls. Okay, so as soon as you can, you have to put, or you want to put, shotgun traps. Remember how I said the door is forcing them to jump down the middle? So if you can only afford 1 shotgun trap, put it straight down the middle. See where the door is? And put it back as far as you can without putting it, like, you know, through the door. So probably there is perfect. Later on, you'll want to have a second one slightly angled in and a third one slightly angled in. That way you're not having like a heavy armored guy drop down and rocket and do that multiple times to suicide destroy your shotgun traps. So you can live out of this for actually quite a long time. People probably won't even notice this base because it's so small. And then when you're ready to expand, this is how you do it. This is how I would do it. You can actually do it any way you want. That's your next expansion. I would put another double door there. I like to sometimes put windows and build them, have it out of wood. It all depends on economy. If you're not wealthy, you might want to live out of a base that has wooden walls. And this is going to be your entrance. You might live like this for a long time, because this to a raider looks poor. It looks like you can't afford to finish building the rest of it out of stone. So they're not going to think, oh, this guy's rich. Understand? Okay. Now it's time for the real expandy. Once you've got the resources to properly expand, you can put glass in these windows and turn everything to stone. Now that you're ready to expand, you'll get 7 or 8 pickaxes or jackhammers, and you and your friends will get rid of this wall. And you'll use triangles. And here, obviously, it has to be a square. And here, obviously, a square. So it's basically triangles wherever you can, until you can't, and then you use a square. Now obviously you don't have to do this all at once. You do everything as you can afford it. What goes here is another door. What was it doing? Are you kidding me? You need to have a workbench? Oh on a build server. That's kind of weird, but anyway. Okay, so now you've destroyed this wall. Obviously you need a door and a second door so that you can have an airlock. And then you continue. Again, as you can afford it. If you can afford to do this all at once, it's nice. You basically just go all the way around. I can speed this up for a little bit. And then you seal yourself in. There, now you're... Oh, the other side. There, now you're all sealed in. Upgrade. Now, if you can't afford to do this all at once, all you do, at any stage where you can't afford to go any further, you just put another roller door until you can afford to do the rest. Okay, so now it should look like this. Actually, we would have, obviously, we would have a door there. And windows, we would have windows there. And nothing would be wood anymore. So that's what it would look like from the outside. That would be stone, that was a mistake. But I just left it because later on it's going to be sheet metal anyway. How do you get up to your base, Paxus? How you get up is your business. Just make sure there's honeycomb everywhere. So you can either have honeycomb here and then build a second little jump up thing. But what I had in the intro is a roof. So you just put a square, not roof, triangle, roof. Then wall and wall. And that serves as honeycomb to that inner wall and a ramp to get up. The rest I'm just gonna skip. It's just putting honeycomb all the way around. Okay, so now that it's been honeycombed from horizontal, that's what it looks like. Technically your core is honeycombed vertically a little bit by that stuff, but it's just a sheet metal door, so that's not really strong honeycombing. So what you would do now is put another layer of honeycomb for the top, because you don't want people going through here accessing whatever you decide to put in this section here. Oops, because this is where your tier 3 is, and you might have some semi-decent loot. And don't forget, eventually you're going to have loot rooms in here as well. But so far this is where you're at early game. So you want to honeycomb from above as well as this horizontal, and that will be just putting walls all the way around. And here obviously has to be a doorway. Now on the sides of the doorways you can put windows, or as I had, trading window, but this time I'm just going to have it closed and then close off the roof. I'm going to speed this up. Okay, so now we have this. We have a roughly honeycombed small base, because remember the actual base is really just a 1x2 with triangles on the ends. At this point I just want to make a point that you should really make this your own base. So what exactly you do with it, or where you expand, or what direction you expand, should be yours. Don't make it exactly like this. I mean, I haven't done anything to account for door raiders. I don't have a clear way up to where the helipad is going to be. Even this ramp, you don't have to do it like this. Do whatever you like. The important thing is this drop down section here, which makes it difficult for raiders to get in. Okay, you might chuck a ladder on to get to the roof. You could just put a step up. You could just make a jump up, and then this will be your helipad. Has to be a double door because it has to be for a roller door. And now you have a heli pad and heli storage. Okay, the basics is done. You've got a base where people have to come in like this and then have incredibly hard time getting down because it's a drop down to shotgun traps, and there's another roller door here, and there's another roller door here. You got the rest of the base outside where you can put anything you like, boxes along the outside, furnaces along the outside. You could have storage, loot, and so on. Now we want to toughen the whole thing. So your core should be high core. Don't forget the roof. And you don't want them to break this so they can shoot at the shotgun trap. So it's very important that the back of the drop down is your strongest as well. So once you go to sheet metal, if you're at the interim stage, when you make the core sheet metal, make sure that this is sheet metal as well, not just the ground floor. Okie dokie, we're getting to the final stages of the fundamentals. The very outer door, sometimes I like to leave it sheet metal to make people think it's not very rich base, but of course for purely actual strength it should be armored, but I sometimes like to have only my second door armored. So that's the core. We've made all the floor sheet metal. We've got the core high qual. We've got that one would be armored as well. Then they have to get down here, which is almost impossible because of the drop down, the shotgun trap drop down. So they have to raid through the high qual, and then they might find the TC behind here, which you could make high qual armored if you want to. Now, in this outer section, which just goes around and around and around your base, as you progress through the wipe, as you can afford it, what you would do is you would just keep putting double doors and roller door off every single section you can possibly put a double door frame on, because that way wherever they bust in, if they just rocket through any of your honeycomb, wherever they bust in, they should end up between two roller doors. So when the raider comes in, they should be standing between two roller doors like this. And then they have to decide, do we go right or do we go left? And once they go one direction, they'll be facing another roller door. Whichever way they go, they're facing another roller door. Does that make sense? I think I'm going to stop now. I mean, you pretty much get it, right? I know it's a lazy base building video, but I'm not even worst. Alright guys, I'm sorry, I really don't have much time or energy. Peace.
Hey, you rusty fruit. Hey, you rusty fruit. Hey, you rusty fruit. Hey, you tiny multi-bases. Hey, you rusty fruit. Tiny multi-bases. Hey, you rusty fruit. Tiny multi-bases. Bases. Hey, you rusty fruit. Tiny multi-bases. Hey, you rusty fruit. Bases. Bases. Tiny multi-bases. Bases. Tiny multi-bases. Tiny multi-bases. Tiny multi-bases. Tiny multi-bases.
Oh, Randy, I don't want to put food up my butt anymore.
Gang, I think maybe we owe God an apology.
Does this mean we have to go to church on Sundays again?
No. It means we get to, son. It means we get to.